This is my speech about civil disobedience, my thesis being that the school system needs to be reformed. In the state of Wisconsin, truancy is considered a crime, truancy being the act of skipping school. I believe that the reason why so many students choose to skip school is because they feel that they are gaining nothing from the experience of being there. And I 100% agree with that. Not only is there is not enough info taught to children that will be valuable in their daily lives. I have been in school for over a decade, and I still do not know how to pay taxes. I am old enough to get a job, yet I do not know how to pay taxes. I could just walk down the street right now and apply at my local Subway, and yet I do not know how to pay taxes. I do not know how to, not only things like that, but I was not taught in school things like how to properly handle your emotions and the emotions of others, and how to be just a generally good person, or even just what laws there are in the state and country that I live in. I do not know specifically, if I do this, is it a crime? Now you may be saying, oh, those are things that your parents are supposed to tell you those things. But one, what if the child doesn't have a suitable parental figure? And secondly, tell me why, in a service that my parents must pay for, there should ever be a scenario in which they say, oh, we don't teach you that. We're not supposed to teach you that. Your parents are supposed to teach you that. When it's something so basic. The point of school is to set you up so that you can have a successful life, is it not? So then why, for these things that are so fundamental in a child's life, must they go and ask parents that may not be knowledgeable or may not even be there at all? Not to mention the stuff that I am taught, even for what I learn, is just it's subpar at best. The stuff that they tell me, even when I am allowed to pick subjects that I believe I would be interested in, such as like English class or programming class or just any class at all, I feel like I am not learning at the level that I feel like I could easily just go on YouTube and find a 10-minute video that would explain it better than this 6-month-long class. And not to mention just the terrible sexual education just in general. It just doesn't. I learned more from a 6-minute-long YouTube video that was put in my recommended feed than I ever did in 2 6-month-long health classes. Another problem with the school system is they try to force kids to be interested in a bunch of things that they will realistically never use. Well, I believe that children should be allowed, by at least the time of when they enter high school, I believe that children should be allowed to choose fully what they want to learn. They should be able to opt out of things like chemistry if they believe that they want to if they want to become a mathematician. They should be able to opt out of math if they want to go into geography or archaeology. They should be able to opt out of just anything to choose actual things they feel would be beneficial in potential careers. And lastly, the style of learning promotes regurgitating info into things instead of actually using your knowledge or using things that you have collected from the assignments to create your own answer. I think of it as like there's one set path. You just have to, okay, this is when I use this, this is when I use this, this is when I use this, as opposed to having your starting goal and having your end goal, and then you have a toolbox of things that you could use to get from point A to point B, instead of it being point A, point A1, point AC, you get the idea. I feel that it should be asking more of the children outside of their memorization skills. So now that you understand my reasoning, my theoretical act of disobedience would be skipping school. Not only do I feel that my education is beyond just garbage, bad, not good, not very good, pardon my language, I'm sorry, Mrs. Teacher Lady, but it is also probably the greatest cause of stress in my life. It consumes my mind constantly, even when I am not doing it. I feel pressured to learn a bunch of stuff that I know that I will never use in the careers that I'm interested in. I don't see myself ever using chemistry. Even if my dream careers do not work out, I will never do chemistry, even just out of principle. If I had the choice, I would just drop out of school right now and focus on learning to drive, focus on getting a job, focusing on saving money for my future. I would focus on my hobbies, that could easily become careers, like writing a book that I haven't been able to work on, even though I started writing it in the 8th grade. I would focus on my YouTube channel that I have videos sitting in my hard drive that I have not edited. I have video scripts floating around in my mind that I haven't even put pen to paper on. And I could easily turn these things into careers. I could learn to code to become an independent game developer. I could learn to play a musical instrument. I have things that I would be interested in doing. I'm not focused on this one specific thing because I know that it would be childish to drop everything else and just bet it all on one thing. But I have options. I'm thinking for the future. I don't see why I need to be told that, just in case you need to learn how to do titrations, you need to learn what a chemistry is. Well, how do you calculate a mole? If I went up to my dad right now, I don't think he could tell me how much a mole is, or how to calculate grams based on how many moles something has. They just wouldn't. He wouldn't, and he's a successful man. He has a job. He's a cool guy. Hi, Dad. That was off topic. Even in classes that I learn in school that relate to careers that I'd be interested in, such as English class, I don't get to do stuff that would be helpful in my career, or in a career that I could make of it. I don't think I will ever need to make a career. I don't think it's even pretty much possible to make a career out of deciphering Shakespeare. It is possible to make a career out of creative writing, because there are books. You could write books, you could write movies, you could write TV shows, you could write for video games, you could write plays, you could write music with your knowledge of words and stuff. There's so much you could do, and yet in that general area, but it never focuses on it. Instead, I need to learn what Shakespeare did. Who is Shakespeare? I need to read Great Expectations. I need to read Jack Lemmon. For some reason, it is an important thing to read a book about dogs mauling each other, but it's not important to learn how to do taxes. Just my main frustration comes from the fact that I feel like I am being told, oh, well, you're never going to learn this stuff anywhere else, and we know that it will be useful for you, so we're going to teach it to you now. And yeah, that is understandable. But I have learned more about mythology, more about science, more about just the world in general from YouTube videos that I watch in my off time. Tom Scott, Loxton and Noggin, just all of these. There are just channels that I will watch. Hello Future Me. I learned more about creative writing in an afternoon of watching a YouTube channel called Hello Future Me than I ever did in a year-long language arts class. And I feel like if I am able to set aside an afternoon to watch a couple of YouTube videos for fun, I feel like if I learn more from that than the education that I am paying for, or my parents are paying for, I feel like the system needs to be changed. The only way the system will ever change is if our voices are heard. So that is why I believe that the best thing to do is for students to just skip school and make sure that the teachers know why. The teachers need to know why we feel that the system is unsatisfactory. That's exactly the purpose of workers' strikes. Whenever workers will go on strike to protest horrible working conditions or terrible wages, like the Amazon workers who went on strike on Prime Day. They were protesting Amazon's notoriously horrible treatment of their workers. So it's just, I believe that we need to make our voices heard. The school system is messed up. It is not thoroughly preparing children for the world ahead of them. Instead, it is telling them how to cram information, how to be stressed, and nothing else. Thank you, and good day.